You may not have seen a lot of shots from the German Masters, but trust me when I tell you, some of them are the toughest shots of the season so far, which could be a problem because as usual we're going to try and work out which of these shots is best by attempting to recreate all of them as accurately as possible and then play them in the fewest possible attempts. But we're beginning with finalist Jiahui, attempting to complete a total clearance in his quarter-final match against Kyron Wilson, but unfortunately he's ended up right on top of the blue for the yellow. Now I'm definitely not expecting this shot with a spider to be easy, but in theory all I've got to do is pot the yellow. Yeah, that's definitely going to be more of a challenge than I was expecting, as I just can't quite see the angle bridging over the blue like this. Which means it's probably going to get a higher difficulty score than I was first expecting. I finally got it, although I haven't got perfect on the green. Judd Trump gets this ludicrous pot down the cushion now, after winning the third frame of the final. It's hard to believe that this shot is even possible, as not only has the red got a long way to go down the cushion, but it's a fairly thin cut at the same time. Fortunately, I don't have to do anything with a cue ball or play it at a firm pace, which means when I get the red to the pocket, it's going to be a lot more likely that it drops. So we're just waiting for me to play this one accurately enough, and unsurprisingly this happened at a time in the final when Judd was just about to start pulling away with it. And you can probably expect this one to do fairly well, even though it didn't really matter if Judd potted the ball or not, as it was a bit of an exhibition shot with the frame already being over. Thankfully, however, I finally got the red. Sam Craigie gets forced into this incredibly tough long blue against Ali Carter, and even though he doesn't end up getting in position of this, he does go on to eventually win the frame and match, making it through to the semi-final. So this one's an incredibly significant shot then, because if Sam had missed it and left Ali a chance, it could have completely changed the course of the match. And by no means an easy pot. I'm really struggling to find the middle of the cue ball, and it means I keep knocking the blue wide as I just slightly go left and right of where I'm aiming. But I found the middle of the cue ball in the end and got it after 5 shots, which isn't bad. A tough plant now as Matthew Stevens finds himself running out of position but decides to attack. The plant ends up going in and he ends up in good position here. There's quite a big distance between the two reds, and that's making things difficult because I need to screw the cue ball back down the table at the same time, but with every single shot I'm slowly getting closer, and I finally got it in the end even if I did lose the cue ball. This positional shot off the yellow from Judd Trump looks borderline unplayable as he reaches across the table and more or less screws directly along the bulk line and uses side spin to get into the reds. Obviously for me this is one I definitely can't play left-handed, so I'm going to have to flip the table round. However, I'm still not sure I'm going to be able to get this right-handed. I'm getting as much right-hand side on the cue ball I can possibly get here, and it isn't enough to spin the cue ball into the reds, so it means I have to arc the cue ball around the brown better, giving myself a better angle down the table to make the cannon. And somehow I've managed to get it, but unfortunately I've simultaneously pushed all the reds safe, so I'm going to have to try again, and that's probably going to mean getting around the brown even further, and I think I've done it here. It's not great, but I pushed the red on, and that's all I was trying to do. Jiahui looked like he didn't have a shot before he got this double, and it's a tough cross double where the red goes very close to the black, so I'm going to have to be pretty accurate with this one. All I need to do here is find the right angle, which is more of a lottery than anything else. You can get it fairly close, but there's no guarantee it's gone in, so I've got to be pretty happy it went in straight away. And competing against that, John Higgins got a very similar shot before going on to defeat Mark Allen 5-2. Even though this is fairly similar to the previous shot, the red's a lot further up the cushion, and you have to play round the back of the black, which I genuinely think makes it a little bit harder. So which of these is going to be the cheekiest double, this or the previous one? Cue the music. In terms of chili, C gets 3, but because of the position of the game, I felt that John deserved more and gets 4. Either way, he's this week's winner. A simple little exhibition shot from Judd Trump next to pot the black over the pocket, but what's impressive about this one is just how quickly he gets down and hits it. I'm not sure if Judd played this with any side or not, but I'm just using a small trace of right hand side to help it round the angles. And I definitely think I should have got a lot closer for my first attempt. This is nowhere near it, so I've got to correct that for my second, and I seem to have done a lot better here. Would have liked to have got this straight away, but I suppose 2 attempts is alright. Michael White finds this length of the table red from a really awkward position. However, he doesn't quite get on the black as nice as it looks and misses it, and eventually goes on to lose the match. This is an awkward angle and a lot of distance, which is making it a challenge, but as long as you get that right like I did on my first shot, then you're okay. I didn't finish on the black properly, but still managed to cut it in. It's Jiahui's turn to pot a long blue from an awkward position, but he manages to get this pot he's been forced into, no problem. Another tough shot with awkward bridging. It might look like I'm queuing over the black a lot here, but it really isn't too bad. I can get to the middle of the cue ball fairly easily. Nonetheless, 2 attempts is still pretty good. John Higgins begins his match with Judd Trump with this really nice long red all the way down the cushion. It's both further away and straighter than the Judd Trump shot from earlier. However, you've got to play this one with a tiny bit more pace, and that does make it a little bit more of a challenge in that way. I'm getting the red in the jaws of the pocket quite a lot here, but unfortunately I'm not doing anything else wrong except not being accurate enough. I've finally got it and we can move on. It looked like a re-rack in the 10th frame of the final until Judd Trump found this red into the middle pocket and then went on to make a 113 break. This is a really tight angle into the middle pocket and I need to screw the cue ball back for the black, and I've got it, which is good because I didn't want to have to replace the reds. With only half a pocket to go at, Sam Craigie has to pot this ball digging down off the cushion, but he still knocks it in absolutely no problem. Not only is this a tough shot, it doesn't really look like I've got the angle to stun down for the black, but I don't have to worry about that yet. First I've got to pot it, and after I have potted it, I'm wondering how the cue ball went so far. Ali Carter with this long red to open up his second round match that's very similar to the John Higgins one we looked at earlier. Not only did Ali manage to pot this, he also followed it up with a long yellow. Again, this is another one where I really just have to get the angle right. I'm using a small amount of right hand side on this, so that's going to make it a little bit more tricky. But I felt I've been a bit unlucky with a few shots I've tried because I don't know how these aren't going in. Now that's more like it. We've got another Judd Trump shot after we find Noah, who's from Lisbon, Northern Ireland, which is in there. It looked like Sam Craigie had snookered Judd with his previous shot, but there was a gap, and wouldn't you know it, Judd could see all the way through to the potting angle. As you might expect, all I really need to do here is pot the red, but it's a surprisingly thin shot from this position, so my first attempt actually missed quite thick. I was happy to correct it on my second attempt, although the white didn't quite go in the right direction. Not only does John Higgins escape from this tough snooker now, he also somehow manages to fluke the red. I was wondering if it was possible to recreate this, because not only would I have to escape from the snooker perfectly, I would have to also somehow find a way to cut the red down the cushion, which would be tough at that angle even if I could see it. Now this video is already long enough, so I've really just limited this to the highlights, otherwise we'd have a 5-minute video of me just trying to recreate a kind of pointless fluke. I did get incredibly close to this on a number of different occasions, including this one where really frustratingly the red just simply didn't have enough pace. I didn't think it was ever going to happen until my 27th attempt when I finally got the pot. I'm not sure why I bothered with this one, but in a way I'm glad I did. So for the results, third place goes to Judd Trump with his cut down the cushion. I know it's an exhibition shot, but you have to be so accurate to get this right. Second place goes to Sam Craigie, digging down with his frame-saving pot on the blue. But first place goes to Judd Trump with his pack split off the yellow. This one was almost impossible for me to play, and I very nearly gave up halfway through. But thankfully, like that John Higgins shot, I got it in the end. And if you want to see more shot recreations from the biggest tournaments, have a look at these two videos. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later!